Hey, welcome back to the Beauty and the Freak podcast, the only podcast supported by Somalian pirates. I am thug, assassin, and fugitive slave Eak the Freak, and this is my co-host, the beautiful, the talented Katie B.
Hello. And Lola. We got Lola. She's not
Welcome
comfy.
back. Yeah, Lola
She said no.
Lola didn't like the sound check. You got to do a clap and a long pause
she
there.
doesn't like it. I'm sorry, baby. Come here.
So, week one, we talked about some kind of wild shit. Week two, we gave y'all the best at dating advice you've ever gotten from two long-term single people. And this week we thought, maybe a lot of Kate's people don't know who I am. Maybe a lot of my people don't know who Kate is. And maybe, it would be cool if we talked about ourselves for just a little while. My favorite person.
Which we love to do.
Yeah, my favorite person is in this room. And then you and Bazo are here too, and that's awesome. And then it's shout out executive producer Manny Boss. Quick one. He's off.
He's here this week.
Yeah. He's here this week. Yeah, he's been had COVID since about November.
So now you should shout Brooke out.
Oh yeah, shout out Brooke Sims, executive assistant, executive producer. Shout out Brent Jones, production assistant.
There we go.
Okay, yeah. So
and
we
Lola
thought
for emotional support.
Yeah, even though she made me feel worse than I felt in a long time when she jumped away from me like that.
Now.
I know I've betrayed her when she took my vape.
She just totally looked at me and did her eyes and looked back like
shot him back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's been shy. So she's going to hang out with Bazo now.
So you gotta hold her.
So in all reality, this podcast kind of came to fruition in me and Kate meeting at, what was the place? D-Food Collab?
D-Food, and it was over a glass of wine.
I actually didn't drink wine that night, I
feel like you did.
I think I drank liquor because I was going to do the...
it was tequila and pineapple. I had one single glass of wine.
New Year's. Yes.
Right? It was
New Year's. It was a Stanley Oni Boys event. Shout out SOBs. Yeah, and I knew I was doing Molly later, and I only do Molly on tequila.
I just knew I was driving to a friend's house, and it was New Year's.
So why not get some wine in your system?
No, that's what I'm saying. I had one small little glass.
Is that true about the tequila thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
What?
No, I had one of the worst times of my entire life because I had not eaten all day, and I thought, I'll get 3 quick shots of tequila and do some Molly, and I'm fucking will be fine. This will be a great New Year's. But instead, my tongue...
We planned a podcast.
We did.
It was great for us.
I was sober when we planned the podcast.
I was too. I said I just had one glass of wine. I think I was like 3 sips in, and
so
what? It was a done deal. We shook hands.
What was it? Yeah, we had both been on the Stanley Oni Boys podcast. Mm-hmm. And I remember when Kate was coming on, I had been there like all night recording music, and I usually will fuck with them when they come in on Saturdays. And they came in and they were like, I think Kelvin said, our guest today is a fucking dime. And I was like, hell yeah, who is it?
Hell yeah.
And he said, Katie Brogdon. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's my girlfriend. So yeah, I had said I'd be in that girl's DMs from time to time, just seeing if she might have a lapse of judgment and decides to hit me back up.
Now that you know me a little bit more, you know now how I handle my DMs. So the fact that I'm not going to tell you that. Never mind.
Well,
I'm not going to give you a big head. You just said something that wasn't generic, so I replied.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You weren't the typical...
Keep going on about how sweet I was.
Eek probably say, what's your cash out?
That I would reply to. I'd be like, it is.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool. We hit it off really quickly. And it was, I think, a similar energy of people that, I will believe impossible things for myself. And I sense that from you, too. Mm-hmm. And I feel like to maybe do fucking anything, you got to, have a proclivity toward the impossible.
Absolutely.
And, how many...
What's the saying? If you don't take the chance, you'll lose the risk. No. If you don't take the risk, you'll lose the chance.
I like that one better. If you don't take the risk. Because you do have to... The other saying, risk it to get the biscuit.
Oh, Lord. If it doesn't scare me, I don't do it.
Oh, I thought that was going to be another euphemism. Is it? Is that a saying? Do people say that?
People do now say it.
I'm jumping your long-tailed cat.
I think the saying is, if it doesn't scare you, don't do it.
Okay. I feel like, we were talking about last week, we were going to do a whole episode on, so you want to start a podcast. I think probably people watch us at home and think that we're like cool, calm, and collected and just chilling back here. And I feel pretty collected, but in reality, I don't think it's like that for anybody in any job, in any place. Like, no matter if you're the CEO of a company and you're going to give a briefing, I think that you think those guys get nervous.
Yeah,
A
little bit.
They're responsible to the shareholders. You know what I'm saying? There's like, and I don't feel like responsible to our audience for anything. Like, I want to be mildly entertaining, but
I do.
you feel responsible?
Yeah, to give them something good.
Yeah, in that way I do.
Because I also don't like to be bad at something that I'm doing.
Well, we kind of hit on that earlier about you cussing and like doing stuff, but also being like a upstanding citizen of like, I mean, you do own like a Tasker's beauty salon. I'm not gonna. Okay, we're gonna cut that. Tasker's Barber and Salon, 101 East Walnut Avenue.
It's not 101.
It's 100 East Walnut Avenue, Suite 114, right by the dog shit Wingstop. But there is, I think, a responsibility.
Yes, there is. There's that fine line that you have to, and it takes a long time to learn, I feel like. And then it takes a long time to learn how to break it. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now.
I think it's going to be, would be infinitely harder for you to break than me to break, in that there's so few women in, like, not a corporate, but like there's so few women business owners in comparison to men. So it's like so much easier. I'm not saying like it's easier for you to garner respect, but there are more probably young women.
No,
that
it's harder.
Not from, look at young women looking like, what do they have to look up to, especially in Dalton or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you have a lot of eyes on you, even if you don't know that you do. Just the fact, just by nature of the path that you have taken and the success that you have found.
Oh yeah, I've definitely learned that, like, over the years, that, and I don't mean this like vain at all or anything, because I've had to learn it. Like, there are people who know who I am that I don't know who they are, and so you do have to constantly realize, like, you are in the eye of the public everywhere.
Because there's a lot of people that are looking, I think, to see like a chink in your armor to make them feel better about maybe something they're not doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Once you start to get...
And people that aren't for you will hate on you, too. And they will see...
People that are for you will, too.
Well, yeah.
Defined for you, but...
Right. But, like, they will take any little thing that they can and grasp it and to, come at you.
But it's, I think it's... The older
being
I get...
a business owner isn't just, like, the definition of being a business owner. Like, there are so many things that go along with it that weigh on you. I mean, I ask myself a lot.
Is it worth it?
I know it's worth it. So it's not that. I know it's worth it, and that's what keeps me going. I ask myself if I'm crazy.
What do you think is the biggest thrill that you get out of, like, entrepreneurship, and knowing that, like, if this all fucks up and goes to hell, it's only you that really takes the biggest L of it? Because that is what entrepreneurship is. If it fucks up, it's you.
Like if that happened, how would I feel?
No. Like, looking at the fact that, like, if you start something by yourself and it fails, you have nobody to blame. Mm-hmm. Like, there has to be a thrill in that. A little bit. There has to be some type of, like, adventurousness in you. But that's what scares most people. Like, there's a ton of people watching here who have businesses in their head that they would not start. What is it about, do you think, about you that has made you look at something like that? The possibility of... To
look back at it and be like, I did that.
The chance of saying, I did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is the chance.
But it doesn't...
I mean, I've done things that have failed.
Yes.
I've done multiple things and that have failed, and it's part of it. Like, no billionaire or very successful entrepreneur out there can sit there and be super successful and be like, oh, I've never failed.
Absolutely. Trump's filed bankruptcy 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're going to fail and you're going to fail and you're going to fail. But what matters is what you take from that, from that, and you learn from it, and if you keep going afterwards.
That, I think, keeping going afterwards is more important than learning. So many times have I fucked up and not learned my lesson and made the same fuck up again.
Oh, I've done
but
that
still
too.
Got up.
It's taken me a couple of times to learn it.
But then you get up on the back end, and it's like, even though I fucked the same thing up 6 times, I will figure this out. Like, I will get this together.
Yes.
I feel like
and I realize also sometimes, like, I needed that failure or like I needed that like punch in the gut.
Because you're the shit till then.
Right.
Right before the biggest
You
punches
have
I've
to
ever
be
gotten,
humbled.
I'm at the top of the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Right before the biggest.
And that's when like you can also, it will get away from you and you can, you know, get carried away with it. And so like I might like take my time to go through my emotions, like if something, you know, doesn't work out, or like I take a big
Work-related?
hit. Right, like work related,
Business related.
yeah. And like it doesn't work out, and I'm
Well, it
like,
fucking hurts
damn.
so bad.
Well, it does, but like so, like I'm only human. I'm gonna take my time to like, you know, like be sad about whatever it may be, and like go through my emotions. But every single time, what keeps me going is when I finally hit that point that it's like, this doesn't define me, and I've done it once, I can do it again. Or, you know, like, and it's just that, like, I'm not done yet. Like,
Is there any part of you that looks at people that we know, and nothing against anybody that works in flooring? Is there anything that looks at you at friends you know that do flooring for 50 or 60 hours a week, and you think of that, and it's like, this is my thought process on it, is like, no failure or public humiliation or falling short of the mark could be worse than the time that I spent making fucking flooring 60 hours a week. Like waking up, knowing I was going to make somebody else a fucking ton of money. I had good money because they pay good money.
well,
but
I wouldn't word it like that. I wouldn't word it like,
you don't feel like the danger?
I wouldn't word it like necessary to like the flooring industry. You say
It was
that
the boredom. It was the
okay,
boredom.
so that's what I'm saying. You say that because of where we are, and it's the carpet capital of the world, and most people here are in the flooring
But
industry.
if you were in Cleveland,
You're
Ohio,
saying,
it would be steel.
I'm
It would
saying
be-
you're saying that typical 9 to 5, going to work, doing the same thing every day, working for somebody else.
On October 14th of next year.
Right, you know
what you're doing.
So, no, and again, no offense to anybody that does that and that makes them happy, because it makes them happy.
And
that's what they want to do.
But do they?
It's a different...
I feel like very few people ever feel fulfilled in that life.
Because you have a different personality.
That's
That's
true.
why.
It's probably hard for me to envision that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like over the years, like I've dated people, I've had friends, or I've had employees, or, you know, whatever, that I have just learned to realize, like, we are different mentally, and that's nothing against them or putting them down or
because
anything
I'm
like
sure
that.
there's things
Because
they're better at than you.
Right. That's what I was going to say. There are going to be things in their life that they are very successful at and accomplish that I could never do. So I don't look at it that way. I have just realized that is not for me.
Some people don't got that get back
and
up
I
in them.
realized that at 18 years old when I worked 2 months at PacSun swimwear, and I had a boss, and I was like,
Why are you here at 7:03, Kate?
yeah, like I just realized very quickly at a very young age, I do not like that.
Do you feel like you dislike authority in general? Do you feel like
Yes.
authority from anywhere?
Yes.
I feel like my
And
defining
because-
trait is anywhere authority is at all. I don't even
Yes.
care if they're a
Yes.
good authority.
I don't even like my own authority.
Exactly.
My own authority bugs the shit out of me.
I will say an opinion and then pick it apart for people just because, like, I don't want to be the authority.
Well, what really gets me, and this is my authority, and this is, you've told me, I try to fit 1,000 things into one day. It's time frames. Like, I hate, and this is probably like my ADD or me just being impulsive and liking to go with the flow, but my life is literally scheduled to the minute.
You sent me your calendar the other day, and I'm not
And
going
you
to
didn't
lie.
reply. Like,
I looked at it and I thought, there's nothing that I can do to this calendar to, like.
And that's not even everything either. That's not my social life, like trying to fit in there. Because I've also learned in the last couple of years that, like, mentally, you have to have that little bit of
Something you enjoy.
right, or like I would lose my mind.
Okay, question.
What were you gonna say though? Like,
I have no idea, and it's not as important as what I want to
like,
ask
because
you.
I did not finish my thought on that.
Do you have to keep going? Like, did you finish?
No, I'll come back to it. Whatever
Oh, no,
it
I
is.
feel rude now. Okay, we're going to cut this out and then kiss, and then we're going to be right back smiling. And you first started getting into hair. Did you feel very passionate like fulfilled and enjoyment from the work that you did?
Yes.
Okay. This I feel like happens to a lot of business people and artists, and it's once you take something that you love to do and you're passionate about, and it starts to be the way that you have to get your insurance paid. That's the way you have to get your car paid. It starts to sit over you as something that not only is expected of you now because you are good at it and you've developed a skill, but also it is like the mainstay of what is keeping the boat up.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel like you fight through that feeling of like just drudging through? Because I think if you do anything you love too much, it can start to feel like a chore, and that keeps a lot of people away from trying stuff too that they enjoy. I know music artists that say they don't want to be serious and put music out because they don't want it to be a chore. They're really just scared of the judgment, and they will never do it.
Absolutely. That's an excuse.
But I do get
No, I
dragged down.
totally get it. And I feel like if you're one of my clients, you've totally heard me say this. Like, I absolutely love what I do. Like, I really, really love what I do, and I take pride in it. And, like, my friends know if I do like a really good color that day, and like say we go to dinner or something, I'm like, look at
electric.
This. Like I'm patting myself on the back because I do take pride in it and I do enjoy it. But and two, like I've been doing this for 13 years.
I was gonna say it.
What?
I was gonna say I've been memorizing your trivia facts, like your
13 years.
your autobiographical facts.
Like 12, 13 years. And I'm like, that's the longest commitment I've ever made to something. That's a long time.
That's 12
that
years,
makes me sound really old.
It's 12 years
makes
longer than my second longest commitment.
But right. But anyways, but there's still like those days where I'm like, it is work. Like it is work. And I've tied other things into it that definitely make it feel like work.
Well, you have to do it. That's why it feels like work.
And I do have to do it, and that's where the stress of it comes from.
Even though you love it.
Yes, I do love it, and loving it and doing it and the pride that I get from doing it, like, is total enjoyment. Mm-hmm. The stress that comes from it that makes it work and a job is the fact that it's what pays my bills.
Exactly.
And if someone's not in, whether, like, I mean, yes, like, I own the salon, wherever.
Barber and salon. It's actually Tasker's Barber and Salon,
yes,
by the way.
Yes, the barber shop and the salon.
100 East Walnut Avenue.
But, like, that's not what pays my bills. Like, still what I do behind the chair is what pays my bills. And so, I mean, all hairdressers, like, if we're not physically working on somebody, we're not making money. And
porn stars hate their job, even though their job is to fuck 18-years all day. There are porn stars that say they hate their jobs
because they have to
do it because it pays their bills. Mm-hmm. I just feel like there's something about people who can even muscle through that, because the most disheartening thing I may have ever felt is feeling the pressure to write music when I did not feel inspired to write music,
right,
because people expect me to write music and continue to put it out when the music I'd put out was inspired and I wanted to do it.
Well, and I have learned in my 13 years of doing hair, I have to reset myself. And so
what do you mean by that?
Well, any like new people to this industry, like, take this advice. I have to, a couple of times a year, go on a trip and go to like a class. And
you just went like 2 months ago.
Yes. And went up to New Jersey, got to see New York for the first time, went to New Jersey, and went to a class up there. And so, like, you're surrounded with other like-minded people. You get to meet new people. You learn something. And I literally come back from every single time I come back and I'm ready to, like, work and do hair. And because, like, I'm like, oh, I want to use what I learned, and it resets me.
How much of that is being around? Me. How much of that is just being in a group of motherfuckers though who are down to grind it out and go get it?
Oh yeah, it's inspiring.
Because not everybody, like, that's something I loved about you, is that you've been, like, just from as a casual like onlooker, I've seen you, like, do well in multiple assets, like, just as a Facebook friend since 10th grade or whatever. Like, you're physically attractive, not easy to do, Not easy to do. It's not. It's like you can be cute, but it's hard to keep yourself fucking together. You have done this. When I started going to the barbershop over there, I thought, this is so cool. Like, it's proprietary. They're offering me a beer on the way in. Like, this bitch really got it going on. And then we come into this fucking castle that you're in now. If you guys have not been into Tasker,
we're in it right now.
This is not even a promo. It is like a labyrinth in here. I expected the Minotaur to be in the back. It was like, what are all these rooms?
Just wait till it's done.
And the barbershop is not even done.
That's
back
what I'm
here
saying.
Yet.
I have 2 other extra rooms that aren't done too.
Yeah, so
I'm saying, like, it's not even done.
What? This is a question I really want to know. What do you think in you that is like a little different than maybe the people who don't do it? What would you tell them to lean towards, to just like take the leap to try something?
Well, like I said, is in the, not the end, because I don't ever want to say there's an end to it, but just looking back and being proud of myself for doing it.
Doing what?
Like being successful and knowing that I worked my ass off.
Financially successful? Is that the...
I mean, no, not necessarily. Like I say all the time, like, when I die, if I've made an impact on, somebody that, helped them through their life, I'm happy.
You actually probably have no idea the amount of people because there's so few women, and I hate strong, independent women, okay? Let's just keep that on the record. There's not a lot of women in business. There's not a lot of women... I mean, there are, sure, a lot of women in business.
There's a lot more now.
When you compare women to men in business, no, it's not close. It's not even close to close.
We're rising. We're getting there.
I think there are probably more people than you know that look up to you for just having the balls to say, if this...
I mean, and when I say, like, I did it on like I said, I didn't go to business school. I went to hair school. That was it. Like, I mean, yeah, like, I went to college, but it was hair school. And I knew in high school, like, I faked it, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go whatever. There was I'm
gonna be a pediatrician.
No, it wasn't that. There was the time frame that I literally was gonna go to dental school and I was gonna be a dentist. Like,
do you feel like that was more to make your parents proud of just having a prestigious career, or you were passionate about
No,
cleaning?
It was a family business.
Okay.
It was a family business, and I would have.
In hindsight, you fumbled the bag.
I know.
You fucked up.
I know. I would have carried a practice on. I know. Many of people have told me that.
And here we are talking to 874 jerk-offs.
But you know what? That wouldn't have made me happy.
Yeah, and you got to be able to recognize that.
And I did. Like, I realized, and I'm not saying that at the end of the day, I'm not going to be more successful, doing what I do than I would as a dentist. Dentists also have the highest, like, suicide
rate. See, when you say success,
so
there's a lot of
things. Something is not good there. But anyways, I realized
tartar off people's teeth.
Yeah, I realized before I, like, really, like, bit the bullet and went to school, I was like, this is not what I want to do.
How old were you when you started? Asher Fang was the first one?
When I started doing hair?
When you started doing hair, first hair job?
I was 19.
You didn't start this at 19?
Yes, I did. I didn't start my, like,
but owning, you started working for someone else at 19?
Yes.
Okay.
I went to hair school.
Out of high school?
Yeah, straight out of high school. I graduated high school in 2010.
PCB 2K10.
The album.
Tribute.
And then I went to hair school in November of 2010. And I mean, hair school lasted a little over a year.
So you get your first job in 11?
At 11.
In 1811. 159 years before Prohibition.
Yeah, that.
So in 2011, you get your first hair job?
Straight out of hair school.
So now how long till you make the leap into saying, fuck it, I'm going to start my own shit?
I was...
How long were you working for someone else?
I've owned my own salon. Fane is 6 years. So if I've been doing it, not counting hair school, I guess I've been doing hair like 12 years. So, I mean, 6 years.
What made you, because this, I really am thinking about how many people have come to me with like, oh, I think I could start a business doing this, but I'm just scared. Like I have a lot riding on this. I don't want like people to like, they're scared
That's what
of the judgment.
that's what I was gonna say earlier. Is when I decided to own my own business, and like as an independent hairstylist, like essentially you are your own business. That is your own business.
You pay booth rent?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you work in a commission salon. But either way, like you're still like that's
Your
solely
clientele.
right. But at the point that you decide to own a salon and stuff, I didn't know what I was doing. Like,
how long did you work for someone
I have
else?
literally built 6 years.
No, not how long have you worked for yourself. How long
6
did you
years.
work for someone else before you said
6 years.
Oh, so it was 6 and 6.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I've been, like I said, not counting hair school, I've been doing it 12 years.
Okay. I understand.
yeah,
I wasn't
so
like tracking
13.
back your math.
No, I know.
I knew this bitch was lying about 13 years the whole
I mean,
fucking
I'm
time.
not saying the math.
How many years,
I'm
Kate?
not saying the math is perfect because I've not kept up with it like
I don't give a fuck
completely.
about the math.
I'm just trying to think. I literally remember giving birth and signing lease agreements.
Do you remember a last straw?
So yes, I do actually. But so Fane is 6, and I was signing lease agreements when I was literally giving birth to him. So
Okay,
when I
when you
decided
say
to open
literally-
my own song,
At the doctor's
my own
office?
salon-
When you say literally,
at the hospital.
when you mean literally,
I'm
Nah.
not lying when I say I gave birth, and then I had my business partner at
With
the
an
time.
NDA.
That's reality, she said.
I had my business partner at the time come to the hospital after me giving birth for me to sign papers.
I want my friends to look at me as if I'm that capable. Like, don't even if we got an agreement and we're gonna do this, I don't give a fuck what you doing, bitch. Shit coming. Did she ask you, is this gonna be cool? I hope not. I hope she just showed up and said you agreed. Did she? Are we allowed to talk about it? I don't know who it is. I have no idea. So
No, it's fine.
I don't know if it's like, I was gonna ask you about that final straw situation, but
I know when you said, yeah.
I know it's like a small Dalton. It's a small.
It's fine.
There's
I mean,
like 51 hairdressers here.
there is so many more than that.
What? Every bitch that does fucking a box dye at her house is not a hairdresser.
No, and I didn't say that either.
I did. I saw a girl melt her hair one night. Smoke started coming off of it. She had box dye in her hair, bleached it. I heard the sizzling so long before, but she was trying to get me into anime, I think. So I was like pretending to pay attention. But then I saw the
You should have
smoke.
definitely said something before.
She
then.
touched it, and this girl was so chill all the time. Panicked, sprinted to the bathroom, put her head under the thing. Her hair was like,
Came out.
It was like
ramen noodles.
but so like you'd boil them for 30 minutes. It was really,
Overdone
It was kind of
ramen.
scary.
Yeah, it's very scary.
I mean, not for me,
every
but
hairdresser in her life has done that to someone else.
have you done it? You know-
Back in my early days, yeah, not to that extent, but
No melt.
I've definitely had times where I'm like, oh shit,
you know you fucked up.
yeah, oh yeah,
I did. There was times doing asphalt where there was one time a hose that sprays like
like I said,
Coal
like
tar.
every hairdresser has a story of when they fucked up. Like you're going to.
my
You're
hose
going
fell off
to.
the truck and sprayed a guy's like $60,000 garage. He had like custom made stepping stones go into his garage, and they were just covered in a substance that is so hard to get off. And it was one of those days where I guess you
Ruined
just ruined somebody's hair. He was out
Did
of
you
town.
make it right though?
He was out of town on vacation. He had already left me the entire thing. He left me 50% deposit up front. He told me, hey, because we had talked like 4 times while I was estimating the job and everything. He said, I really don't think you're going to get me. He said, I left the rest of it in the mailbox, finish the job, and leave. So I left the money and called him that night and said, hey, I
You made it right.
fucked your garage up. No, I didn't. He said, you know what, man? He said, you could have easily taken that money
Mm-hmm.
and left. He said, don't pay me nothing. He said, it's cool. I'll get somebody else to come fix it. Because, I mean, he was
Mm-hmm. That's
rich,
what
rich.
I'm saying. You did. You made it right. Like you did.
tried to make it right.
Right. No, but I'm saying
But he was like
you
80.
did him right.
It-
is what I mean.
because he
like,
wasn't worried
whether
about
you
money.
fix your problem or not, it's the way that you handle
Being
it.
a stand-up.
Another advice to like new people in the industry, like
Any industry, probably.
yeah, any industry, like own up to your mistakes.
You're going to fuck up.
You were most definitely gonna fuck up.
Everybody above you has fucked up more than you. The only reason they're above you is because they have tried probably 10 times more
Yep.
than you, but
You
also
learn from your mistakes.
failed 5 times more than you. I don't always learn from mine. Sometimes it takes me 23 times of doing the same mistake. But eventually, You either get callous to a mistake, which, you know, a hard head make a soft ass, I heard. Or, yeah, you will learn from it. You can only fuck something up so many times. But I think so many people just quit. And anything they do, they start, you know, maybe they're 19 years old and they collect a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards and sell them and lose $400. And now they're like, okay, tufting forever.
Yeah,
no.
That's what it is. I think people just don't really kind of believe in themselves as much as they say they do.
It's crushing to take a L, bro. And
it's like, especially someone that like takes so much pride in.
Well, that's who would start a business to start with.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But like, you take so much pride in like your product and stuff. Like when
you're gonna take it bad.
Right? Yeah, you take, and that's what I like mean by like you've got to give me my moment to like sulk and like be like poor pitiful me. But it's how you handle it afterwards. And me, every single time, I'm like, all right, bitch, like you got to get up and you got to do this and you got to hustle and you got to grind and, you know, and whatever. And I have that talk with myself and I do it.
You feel like you have to put the blinders onto yourself as to where when you wake up and yourself says, you know, I don't have anything to do till 11. It's only,
I have 1,001
but let's say
things
you
to
do, you know, you don't have nothing to do till 11.
I constantly beat myself up over
and
that.
But you're up still and you're thinking, what can I do? I feel like that's another thing that maybe keeps people from being what they want to be.
Thing. And like I said, there's nothing wrong. Like if you aren't that personality, but like if you have any doubts, you know, on something that you want to do, but you do think like you have what it takes to just figure it out.
You got that dog in you.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm scared of everything that I do. But I do it.
Do you feel like you can tell that trait in other people pretty quick? Because there are a lot of pretenders at every level.
There is a lot of pretenders.
There are people far more successful than both of us who are totally pretending. 100%.
Mm-hmm. I want to know their backstory is the thing. It's like
rich parents.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you break it down, like what has gotten you there.
I mean, there's a lot of things that can get you there. You can have a good memory.
Yeah. And like I said, like
so far and stuff.
Like me in my business, I don't have a business degree. I winged it. When I say I made a decision and, you know, decided like I'm going to do this and I just like impulsively.
That is how mine started.
Yes.
That
like
is
just
exactly how mine
impulsively
started.
was like, I'm doing it. And didn't have a clue what I was doing and learned it on the way. That's what I've done. Like that's what I've done. And so like I feel
always
like a
wonder
lot
what
of
that
people,
is. What's that trait? What's that trait?
I don't know.
It's that dog in you.
It's just but it is. It's a personality trait.
I wonder if it's my fear of working this 9-to-5 job every day.
Well, and I agree with you. Like that right
but
there
that ain't all
absolutely makes me like want to rip my hair out. Like I can't.
I feel like that's a wall of spikes behind me.
Like I would be the most miserable person. And again, if you do that and, you know, and that's what works for you, then that's what works for you. And
I worked with some happy people at Mohawk.
And that's what I'm saying. And that is great. Like I'm here to explain
your brain.
Right.
What?
Right. Like I'm not hating on that at all.
But a lot of people in Dalton know this is not offense. This is I love you guys. I love the people around here. They think because their parents made carpet, their parents made carpet, and they have a 2-story house. They have 2 golden doodles AKC certified. That
I think it's
they
small.
use sticks
I think it's
when they hike.
Small town.
It's like a safety net for them.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I think it's the small town of. Like the small town culture and where like you need to get out like and be cultured. Also like where we live in this small town like there's people that are not open-minded to different things. It's got to be this way or it's wrong. And
that's what my granddaddy said.
Right.
Gay? Hell.
And I'm just
Taxes.
like
taxes?
Yeah.
Fuck
and I'm just like, there's so much more out there.
Dogmatic.
Much more out there.
But when you grow up, and I was so lucky, my dad let me choose to go to church or not go to church. He said, if you want to get on the church bus and go, if he let me I went to Bible study 4 years my senior year. Just not having anything shoved down my throat ideologically. My dad always encouraged me to question everything. He was like, you know, no matter how much you believe something, question it. And that was I had a better point. I had a point. I was
like that really like sat with you your entire life. And
100%.
Like, do you constantly tell yourself that?
Well, as
like,
to where even if I feel like if I was stuck here, I wouldn't have been stuck in that loop.
Right.
Because I was
have
always
those
taught
things. My mom always told me to pick my battles. Like, for as long as I can remember with anything, my friends, my relationships, now like business stuff, everything.
Is it worth
it? Again, I know it's worth it.
I'm saying pick your battles.
It's pick your battles. And like my mom always would like say that to me if like you know,
say like a tagline, career tagline.
Yeah, like I would call her like be venting. No, not like I'm saying, not necessarily. I said now career, but like in the past, like relationships, friendships, you know, whatever.
But the advice she would typically lean towards.
Like she would listen to me and she'd be like, Katie, pick your battles.
I think that to
pick
myself
your battles.
a lot. Is this, even though this person might deserve it.
Is this worth it?
They might deserve it.
On the situation.
And I'm justified. Maybe I get away with it.
Right.
Maybe I do get vengeance.
But it's still pick your battles.
Yeah.
And I do that still in business. Like, I mean,
it never gets easier.
Business is not pretty.
It never gets easier.
Owning, no, it gets harder. More money, more problems.
As soon as
bring on the fucking problems. Like, that is a fact. It is so
Imagine
true.
having the IRS after you. Oh my god.
And it's so I have not filed my taxes.
Fuck it, I ain't filed mine in 2 years.
Not for
baby.
this year. Well, I do every year, and I file an extension every year.
Beauty and the Freak LLC has filed their taxes for the past 7 years.
But I'm saying like I've filed an extension and like shit happens. Like life gets in the way sometimes.
What business? No, and you didn't.
But
you
the
didn't
fact
go to
about
business
that,
school
I
either.
didn't go to business
But neither
school.
do any business owners. Neither.
Some of them do.
Some do.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean they do.
I know. Okay, if I counted all of the local business owners around here who are successful.
Let me say this though. My point to more money, more problems. What doesn't scare me about that is when he says, "Bring on the fucking problems." Like I feel that. Like
bring on the problems.
Like
I'm the problem.
Half the time, yeah, but I'm saying like you have to get in that grind where you're just like in my head I have this goal.
You have a finishing point in your head?
No, I don't even want to say finishing. Like I'll be finished when I die. Like,
but you're striving upward. There has to be a point that you see yourself at.
Yeah, I mean, and there is like,
and
it's not
furniture,
and it's not my tipping point.
Elaborate jewel encrusted furniture. Is that not what you said? You would. It was like at the top when you'll know you've made it. I feel like we had a furniture conversation one time when you were talking about very elaborate furniture.
Did I say this?
I mean,
that might have been the way you took it.
Well, also,
I'm like, I might have said something like that.
But you also was drinking out of that coffee cup that holds 3/4 of a bottle of wine. So, and honestly, diamond encrusted furniture feels like you fucking made it to me. I feel like you could probably take a weekend off.
What the hell was I talking about?
I could be making this up. I'm not 100% sure.
Honestly,
sounds hard, right?
Believe you. Like I believe you. I just don't.
That sounds
remember.
like something I would fucking say.
I'm like I'm not saying you're wrong.
That's why I feel like it's kind of good not having like an end goal because like, other stuff can come and if you're thinking about the end goal, you're gonna be blindsided.
Yeah, you're gonna have that tunnel vision and like anything because which is good.
You have to have it. Sometimes.
You have to have that goal, but you have to understand that there are gonna be things that come that are gonna be speed bumps
and
the speed bumps,
not necessarily always speed bumps,
not the ones in your neighborhood you're never getting over. Yeah. It's simply the end.
Speed bumps, and also like you never know, like some other opportunity could be way better than the old one.
Exactly. Right. I'm running into this right now.
Everything happens for a reason.
I feel like I'm in such a crossroads right now, and that like I was doing music and it was going really well and people were really liking it. Mm-hmm. And now that we have started doing this, not that I've took my foot off the gas with music, but like I love doing this and I enjoy this so much.
Oh, I do too.
That I don't know if I could derive that same level of enjoyment to like, but I want to be, Bruce Lee said, be like water, take the form of the container you're in.
Right. So I have always said, I just said, I absolutely love doing hair. I
thought you were going to say heroin.
I take it as,
same.
I take it as I'm an artist and it's my canvas and it's my artwork. But I have said for years, like I want to wear many hats. Like, I don't want to just be a hairstylist. Like, I want to do all these things. And that does come into me owning the barbershop and the salon. And like,
well, eventually you're a teacher, no matter what your job is. If you
like, I had people tell me years ago, like, you should teach, and I'm like, oh no, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't know how I would stand up and teach.
That is what the artists do.
That's what I do that now. Like, I love taking in like new stylists and stuff, and
that
like,
moment when they get it, when they understand,
and like,
this is why this is.
Like, it feels so good to know that you have worked your ass off for years and you've educated yourself and you've put all this time into what you do as your craft, and then you have people who look up to you and look at you and say, like, I want to be like you and I want to learn from you.
That feels crazy. I never believe it. Like, I feel like an imposter in any room.
Right.
When people ask me
I'm like, oh,
music
but,
advice.
you know, and I want to give them like a flaw immediately. Because I'm like, oh God. But you do have to take that. Like, everybody has flaws. But it's that
like, dog in you.
And then I have learned I like educating. It's the same thing.
It's my
Years
favorite
before
thing.
I opened my first salon, people said, why don't you just open your own? And I was like, oh, no. I just want to come to work and I want to go home. I don't want that responsibility.
They say, oh, you pussy.
No, I said, oh, no, I don't want that responsibility. And then as soon as I took the leap and opened my own salon, I was like, I love this.
Did it work right away?
No.
Like,
hell no. I had a partner at first. No.
Did you think it would be much easier when you started? Or did you expect it to be a hard road to hoe?
No. Honestly, my first salon with my partner was nowhere near the extent or the involvement of what I've done on my own. Like, and I mean that, like...
You enjoy it more that way?
No, yes, I enjoy it more, but like... That first, it was a very cut and dry, like, first experience. Like, very cut and dry. Like,
we've never been there.
We had our overhead. We paid our bills. It is what it is. And, like, there wasn't any, like,
flavor.
Anything. Yes, there was nothing deeper than that. There was nothing deeper.
When I walked into Tasker's Barber the first time and got handed a beer, I thought, this is so smart on like a level. Right. That was the culture though that you had built. I didn't even know you really at the time like this. That was the culture.
And that right there is so important, is the culture. And in my first salon, we didn't have a culture. That was not there. So that's literally what I mean of the like.
When people wake up to go to work and they have no like identity. If people come to work and they're very proud, if they see, 10 people on Facebook a day talking about Tasker Salon and how good it was, like you will have pride to be from there. But when you go and there's no culture, there's no sense of like, I'm going to do this.
You're not going to walk out the door and remember it the next day to tell somebody about it.
And it just don't make it worth it if you're working there. If you're working somewhere where you don't feel like your efforts are being like, are elevating.
Appreciated or seen or anything
or
like
helping,
that. Right. Right.
I got to pee a little bit. We could probably cut here for just a sec, maybe.
Okay.
I have no idea how long we've been recording. We could have been recording 50 minutes. Could have been recording 8.
50 minutes.
Welcome back to the Beauty and the Freak podcast, the only podcast that openly endorses Osama bin Laden. So right before we left, we were basically talking about your trek through the business world, and it gave me, as I was sitting down on the toilet to pee, it's more sanitary, you know what I'm saying? It's nobody has to touch the seat. Hashtag I won't stand for it. I was wondering, I feel like a very consistent trait amongst young women, no matter how pretty they are, is they have this like this fear of maybe taking a plunge into a male-dominated space such as business, or they have this fear of you have fucking Fane, who is a great dude. They have this fear that they have a baby, so now the risk is so much higher for them to do anything.
That only makes me work harder, though. Honestly,
if you had a group of young women who we could just hypothetically say these are like discouraged women who have good ideas, maybe they're hard workers, but they're just so beaten down by like culture coming down on them and saying, you can't do this, you can't do this, what would you say to them? Not as a perfect person, but as someone who has fought through those boundary or those roadblocks your whole way through this.
I've fought through a lot. Like,
to the young ladies now.
Yeah. Like, I've gone through a lot. But it is that mindset of, like, you've got to just do it. Like, if it's really something that you want, and, like, don't let the fear of failing define you. And
that will tell them what they want, though. The fear of failing, I think, is so strong that things they want. So strong. You're saying things they want. I still
have the fear of failing.
You're saying things they want, though, but maybe they want it, but the fear of failing is so great that it makes them look at it as if, like, it's not even worth the trouble.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can only, like, speak from my mind. Like, if it's something that I know I really, really want, like, at the end of the day, if I don't just take the chance and go for it, then I'm never going to have it. So why not take the chance and try for it and have the chance of having it, than knowing that, like, you're, like, if you don't do it, you're never going to do it.
One more question.
You're never going to have it.
So
it's that impulsive, just, you just got to go. You just got to.
Are you going to be ready before you go?
Absolutely not. Like, if you wait till you think you're ready, like, you won't ever be there. You will always have an excuse, and it is an excuse.
It is.
Like, as raw or hard as, some may take that, it's an excuse. So
it's as easy to find a reason as an excuse,
absolutely.
Too. Like you said, fame is the reason that you feel like you got to grind harder.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I've personally
I have
spoken,
something to not just, like, to myself, but I have it to prove for him.
I've personally talked to so many women who say, I have a child, so I can't start a business because if it doesn't work, then it just, which is true. And, if you look at the stats, it's not going to work.
I will say this. I don't give myself, like, on certain, like, I understand that there is the option of something not working and it failing. But there is also things that I have done, like when I first opened Taskers, I did not give myself the option for it not to work.
Whatever the workload was.
Right. It didn't matter.
You were going to do it.
I was going to do it, and I was going to figure it out. And that's what that leap of, like, faith, impulsiveness, like, whatever it may be, that's what it was, is I did not give myself the option for it to fail.
No matter how many times you tripped up or stumbled up.
Right. That was nowhere to be found.
That's that dog in you.
Yeah. That was nowhere to be found. I knew that I was capable of, and I would do whatever I had to do to make it and make it be a thing to me.
What would make you give up?
Still. Give up on everything that I have?
And just go take a job at some other salon?
I don't think I could.
You don't?
In all honesty,
if something happened, if a lawsuit got dropped on you tomorrow, this place got ripped away.
I've had a lawsuit dropped on me.
Everybody quit.
I've had people quit. I've had all this.
You don't think there's anything that could land on you that would make you just give it all up?
I feel like there would still be something that I was, like, still gonna push for.
I know that about you.
I think. Because, like I said, like, I have been through it. Like I said, business is not pretty. Being in business for yourself, like, people see, like, the glory side of it, and, like, she's doing good, and, like, this, and, like, blah blah blah.
Or she's getting her nails done at 9 on a Wednesday.
Right, like, and whatever, and you can go on this trip, and you can do that. But what it takes to have that, like, it is. Or what comes with that, actually.
It looms over you that if it fails, it's you. It's you. When I look in the mirror, anything I do that I know that fails, that I push everybody away.
And I have said that. Like I said, like you said, like, lawsuit, people quitting, whatever. That has happened to me. But what I said when that happened was, if this fails, it will be because of me, not because of somebody else.
And even if that's,
I'll be damned if that happens.
I believe in this so much.
because of somebody else. I won't let that happen.
Even if it is because of them, though, if you tell yourself in your head, this didn't work because of this person, or I'm in this position because of this person, now what you've done, you have no power to fix it. If you can find a way, and I do this all the time, in situations that clearly aren't my fucking fault, but I will think, is there any point in this that I could have done better? Not different, but literally better, like a more morally upright position.
I'm absolutely going to think of that.
And if you have that, if it's your fault that this didn't work, you weren't on your toes enough, you trusted too heavily, now you can fix it.
Right.
Now you can go to the drawing board and you can really sit down and reassess. Yes. But as long as it's your dad's fault because he got drunk and beat you, as long as it's your mom's fault because she ran off with the guy, or your uncle that touched you, or those are terrible, awful things. But as long as it's their fault, you can't fix that, because in your head it's their fault you're this way.
Right, but
it's where personal responsibility comes in.
Yeah, and like I said, like I get it. Like those are things that
awful. The things I said, morbid.
Yeah, they are awful things that a lot of people sadly have to deal with. But that's when you have to change that mindset and like think about, you have to be selfish. It's okay to be selfish.
In a lot of ways.
And in a lot of ways, it is totally okay to be selfish. And that's something else that has been preached to me over the last few years, is it's okay to be selfish when it's appropriate. And in a time like that, it's appropriate to be selfish and take your trauma and take, those things that you feel like are holding you back and tell yourself, like, I'm not going to let them hold me back. Because if this is really what I want and this is what's keeping me from it, it's because it is making it harder. It is making it harder. It's a mental thing. It is so a mental thing. If it takes you a week of laying in your bed and not talking to anybody to get yourself in that right mental capacity,
that's me,
to change that thought and get it past you. But that's the way that you have to deal with it, to get to a new thought of, I can do this and I can grind and I can go back out there and
because I'm not going to let that hold me back. This brings me to an important point here. Beauty and the Freak podcast has been brought to you by Tasker Salon. The
Barber Salon.
God fucking damn it! Okay, yeah, so I just wanted to note that the thoughts, opinions, and feelings expressed by mostly me do not correlate or connect to the management or ownership of Tasker Salon at all, but we are
You said it wrong again.
Okay, I'm going to have to take that out. That was a dinosaur noise, and I didn't even know I could make a noise like that.
That was really...
We're not connected to the management or ownership of Tasker Salon in our moral proclivities. But if you want your logo up here, and we're open to, because we have no sponsors right now. We're just doing all this out of pocket. Let's just keep it a being with you guys, because I'm kind of a liability to attach a name to, except for the fact that a lot of people watch it. If you would like to put your label down here or over here on our little title screen, we're also open to doing little, you've probably watched podcasts before. People take a little 30-second ad read. Magic Spoon is a 0-calorie cereal that is perfect for your family. So shout out Magic Spoon, Ridge Wallet.
Any brands or products.
Boutiques.
Yeah, boutiques. I will wear your clothes.
Look at her.
Shout you out.
Just look at her.
Like anything like that. If there is like any...
If Johnny Dang wants to send me a grill right now, I will rep that motherfucker like Marshawn Lynch. Beast mode in the Super Bowl. If anybody wants to send me some Jordan 4s, Michael Jordan, if you're watching this, and Michael Jordan does watch this. I saw that on Sports Center yesterday. Yeah, Michael Jordan, if you're sending this, 4s are my favorite. 5s are a little clunky for me, or some high top ones. But yeah, we're
wear
open.
A 6.5.
Really?
Yeah.
I noticed I almost had your entire heel over my teeth, and I was thinking, how is this even possible? Yeah, so...
What?
Welcome back to Beauty and the Freak podcast, brought to you by Clapping with No Hands. This week, I really thought we did a thing. We've been doing some funny stuff. We're funny individuals. And you guys know so fucking much about me because I have no filter. And
yeah, you put it all out there.
I posted on Facebook that I got genital herpes, so it's like there's not a lot left for you guys to learn about me. And I know a lot about Kate. There's a lot of probably intricate reasons to why we ended up doing this together, and I thought it would be beneficial for the whole thing and you guys to be able to just hear kind of her genesis story, and not so much a like where did you start in hair, But more so, like, how do you fucking deal with the hard shit that is natural when you try stuff beyond working for somebody else?
The shit that I don't put on social media.
Yes. The L's that you just take in silence and go home and sleep and wake up.
The classy way.
Like a lady with some, with some Pinot Chanfant. I meant Pinot Grigio. Okay, yeah, so we really appreciate you guys for coming out here, man. Week 3 in the books. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel down here. It really helps. Leave us a like. Send this to your ma, your aunt, your cousin, your step niece. We love you, and cut.
Well, I'm right back on the pills. Don't give a fuck about how I feel when I'm back off home.